Welcome, everyone, to episode 157 of the Looks Like a Movie podcast. My name's Kevin. I'm here with Doug, and today is Oscars Sunday. So, we're going to be reacting to the Oscars. It's also Selection Sunday for March Madness. So, later on the podcast, I'm going to make Doug fill out a March Madness bracket blind, and we'll see how well you do. But first, we're going to talk about what we watched this past week. Doug, take it away.
Uh, I watched one movie, one and
Okay.
2/3 movie this week. I watched The Moment, Charlie XCX. I need to
Did
lock
you
you
like
up.
it? I know I've been curious to see your reaction for a while now.
It's okay. It's like fine. I if you don't know, right? I've been like a big Charlie XCX fan for a really long time. Like since I was in middle school. I've been like a really big fan of hers like all throughout high school. And it was weird because when I was in high school, nobody listened to her music. And I was like, guys, Pop 2 is crazy. There's the song with Carly Rae Jepsen on it, and like nobody cared, right? And then it's like, man, then she became like
Everybody listens to her now. Yeah.
really mainstream. Which again, I'm not like
You don't care.
yeah, it's not like that. It's just weird. It's strange, right? To see this
Yeah.
happen, I'm not like moralizing or saying it's bad or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
You're not
just
gonna
it's
like
just,
stop listening to her because she's
no,
popular.
yeah, no. It's just weird to see it happen. And the moment, uh, I think that the way that Charlie has been navigating becoming so much more famous, is interesting, and I think that the moment kind of being like this like meta diary mockumentary about it. Some of the ideas are like fine. The execution isn't like great. It's very silly. It's like Alexander Skarsgård is like he's a director of concert films. You haven't seen it, right?
I haven't. The only real reason why I would bother watching it is because of Alexander Skarsgård. So if you tell me that his
He's
role
not
is
in
not
it.
that significant, then I probably won't watch it.
The whole movie is kind of about his character, but he's not in a ton of the movie. Uh, it's
Okay.
like it's like so the label is like we're gonna do a Brat concert film, because like the Brat tour, you're going on the Brat tour, and we're gonna do a concert film for the tour, right? And they hire Alexander Skarsgård, who's like a fake director, who's like a legendary like concert film director, and he directed like Coldplay, the Coldplay concert film, and he
Okay.
directed the Demi Lovato concert film. And he made so much money, and he's just like kind of like a hack, like
Are
not
are
creative
those
guy.
people like in the movie? Like, why is it specifically Demi Lovato and Coldplay?
I don't know. I think like as an example of like mainstream music that isn't
Okay,
very
sure,
good, so that might
sure.
be kind of
I
crazy,
guess.
but um yeah, but it was like specifically like there's a scene where like Charlie's like, "Yeah, I watched this Coldplay movie and it sucks." Um and he's like a hack and he doesn't get it at all, and there's a lot of talk about like him not getting it, or like I don't think you get it. And it's like whatever. And there's a scene with Rachel Sennett, the one scene with Rachel Sennett that's pretty funny, and then there's one scene with Kylie Jenner that's okay. It's basically like Charlie XCX is have like freaking out because she's like, this is way too much. People every day, people just need me to make a million decisions, and I just like, I don't know. And it's like she's like not handling being like the expectations around her being so much more famous now very well. And she's worried like, oh, what happens when this all ends? What happens when Brat ends? Like, is it cringe? Are we going too hard? Like thinking about the movie. And Kylie Jenner is like, no, babe. Like this is when you need to go like the hardest. You need to go all in. And then yeah, and then it
I
went
see something
nowhere.
this week about how Kylie Jenner wants to get into acting, I think.
Like in Ryan Murphy shows or like in her boyfriend's
Yeah,
movies,
I don't
because
I'm
those are
not
different things.
sure. Yeah.
Because your sister is
Um,
in Ryan Murphy shows that are garbage. Um,
yes, yeah. Um,
so we got to do
I
something about
as-
Ryan Murphy.
I assume it would be something closer to that, but I guess the Timothy Chalamet of it all means that technically
Yeah, because it's
it
like
wouldn't be hard to get a role in a more serious project.
yeah, like when she like because when Kylie Jenner says I want to get into acting, it literally could be being the lead in a Ryan Murphy show like Kim Kardashian is, or being in a Josh Safdie movie.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched the moment. I watched the first 2 hours of One Battle After Another on
Mhm.
right here.
Preparing
Before
for tonight.
yeah, like right before we started recording, I have like 40 minutes left in the movie. Um, it's so good, dude.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
so
I saw your tweet getting some reactions.
yeah, and it's like people are like, oh, hyperbole or like whatever, and it's like I looked at all the movies nominated for Oscar that have ever been nominated for Best Picture, and what I said was it's like among the 10 best movies ever nominated for Best Picture, and it's like there's some movies where it's like, oh yeah, these are like really canonical pictures are really great, but it's like I like One Battle After Another a lot more than a lot of these
Yeah.
movies, dude. It's like I think it's unbelievably good. It's like everything about it is really, really, really great to me. Um,
Right.
so good. And then we started watching this show on Amazon
Oh
Prime
God. Yes.
called
Please tell listeners what this show is, because
called
I guarantee not a single person listening to this podcast will have heard of it.
Scarpetta. You don't think there's any Scarpies? You don't think there's any
Oh, do they
Scarpetta
have a name?
dolls? Um,
I'm sorry, what was the last one?
they, it's yeah, so it's like based off of like this really not I don't know, really popular. It's based off of a book series from like the 90s called Scarpetta. And it's like Nicole, it has like a crazy cast. It's like Nicole Kidman. It's Nicole Kidman is the titular Kay Scarpetta, right? And then it's
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis, it's
Oh wow.
Bobby Cannavale, it's
Cannavale. Yeah.
Cannavale, um
I think. I don't actually know if that's
uh
Cannavale. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know,
Oh,
but he's
Rosie McEwen's in it.
yeah, Rosie she plays the young Scarpetta who and
I
watching the
see.
movie, she's in it more than Nicole Kidman and through the first 3 or 4 episodes, whatever we watched.
I see.
And Ariana DeBose is in it.
Oh wow. Huh.
Um, yeah, I want to talk about. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna finish the show. We tried watching it. It's a new Nicole Kidman show, and we were like, oh, it's like a crime thing. We're like, whatever. Like, it could be fun. It's like boomer bait. And it was not fun. It's fucking deranged garbage. Um,
Right.
Ariana DeBose's character, Ariana DeBose, a 35-year-old woman in real life. In the show, if you follow the logic of the timeline, she has to be either 39, 30, like between the ages of 38 and 40, right? In the show. She
Hmm.
lives at home with her mom, who is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay.
She doesn't have a job because she's like she's kind of like Ella McKay's brother and like made a bunch of money like doing
Right.
computer stuff when she was like really, really, really young. Um,
Okay.
and her wife died in the show and she's grieving her wife. So she spends all of her time in her room talking to an AI version of her wife.
Uh-huh. And is this like meant to be dystopian, or is it like earnest and you're supposed to like
I it's like
see it?
so
Uh,
the other characters in the show are like kind of like concerned about it because she's like, oh, she's like not spending any time in the real world, But like Scarpetta, like Nicole Kidman and Bobby Cannavale, whatever.
Cannavale. I don't know.
Kind
Well, I'll look up the pronunciation of his name. I
of-
like also we've been listening to Rose Byrne like say his name a lot recently, and I still just can't remember
Also,
the
those
right
guys are great in the
pronunciation.
show. Those two are really good in the show. They're just and there's like such a big ensemble. They're just not in enough of it to justify watching it, I think. Um, but because like so like those two guys, they're like yeah, I don't care. Like we
I think
have
it's
like
Cannavale,
Cannavale.
just like no E. Yeah.
So Nicole Kidman and Bobby Cannavale, they're kind of like we don't care. We got like detective like whatever crime stuff to worry about.
Yeah.
So then Jamie Lee Curtis is like, oh, I'm really concerned. But then in the third episode, there's a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis spends all day in Ariana DeBose's room talking to her AI wife, just all night, being super charmed by her AI wife and being like, I was really concerned. But like you're such a great conversationalist, and I wish I got to know you more before you died. And it's like, bro, what the fuck are we like? What the hell is going on? Like, it's so deranged. It's so crazy. It's like not very good. So
Yeah.
That's the new Amazon Prime show, Scarpetta, that I started
Yeah.
watching.
So on the subject of TV, I have a question for you because I texted you this question and you did not read my text. But I saw you tweet a Succession quote, so I had to ask if you're watching Succession. I assume the answer is no, but I want to know what prompted you tweeting the quote anyway.
You know, I was being earnest, and I didn't even realize that was also a Succession thing. I just like I
Okay.
came up with that, and I was being serious.
All right. Come on. Wait, but like, are you considering watching it?
I've seen Succession, bro.
Like what? Like an episode?
I've seen like the first like 2 or 3 seasons.
No, you haven't. You
How
did
many
not watch
seasons
that
are
much
there?
of
How many
Succession.
seasons are
4.
there? There's 4. I've seen the first 2 or 3 seasons. I definitely didn't see season 4 at all. I didn't watch any of season 4. Definitely watched
Okay.
all of season 1, and that is as certain as that is as positive as I can get in hard
Okay.
information.
All right. All right.
It's good. It's good.
It is good. It's really good. Often I'm watching TV shows and I think, why don't we just rewatch Succession instead of watching all these TV shows? It's
Yeah,
like
well, I
that
was
good.
watching Scarpetta, and I was like, "What are we doing?"
Yeah. No, yeah, I can imagine. I won't be watching that,
So, but
but
you don't even know about this show?
I know about it now. Yeah.
I mean, do you not follow Nicole Kidman on Instagram?
I'm gonna be honest, I barely open my Instagram.
How do you keep up with all the locals?
The locals. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like people that I know, like in my
Yeah,
real
like people you
life?
went to high school with. How do you keep up with all those guys?
I'll go on Instagram and I'll scroll for like a couple seconds, see if like anything's happened. And if I get lucky, then like maybe two things align, you know? Like if I get lucky, like the other day, this is like a sad thing, but I opened Instagram and I saw my friend post about his dog passing away. And
Oh,
so I texted him because I had, when we were younger, he's not as close of a friend now, but when we were younger, he was like one of my best friends. And so I knew the dog very well. And so I texted him to send my best wishes about his, dog passing away. And if I didn't open Instagram that day, then I would have never known that his dog died. It's like sometimes like a thing happens. Sometimes I open Instagram and I'm like, oh, this person got married. And then there's probably a bunch of other significant events that I don't know about because I only open Instagram once every however often. I really only open it to like post on my Instagram story. I'm not like actively scrolling my feed ever. And I don't post stuff on my Instagram. And listeners of the pod, I want to put this out there. At some point, and I don't feel bad that you've found my Instagram. At some point, I'm going to make people unfollow me. My Instagram is like the one social media that I don't promote online like I do with my Twitter.
then you gotta
And
make
like,
your account private, bro, if it's that
I know,
serious.
but it's just like I never expected people to find it, but then other people I know through like film TikTok and like through film stuff follow me on Instagram, obviously because we're friends, but then because they follow me, I have gotten, like other people have found me through it. And I don't really care enough to make my Instagram private, but it's just like weird sometimes when I'm thinking about the fact that people from the internet are just like following me on Instagram because I don't know, it feels like a private place. It feels like a separate
and make your Instagram private, and so you can post pictures.
But
of
also,
you,
like, I'm not really
your
doing anything.
girlfriend,
Like,
and
I don't
your
even post
baby.
on there. You know what I mean? So it's like, is it
Yeah.
that big of a deal? I don't know. Anyway, I watched well, I also was not on the pod last week, so I
Right.
watched 2 weeks worth of stuff. Although 2 weeks worth of stuff for me was not that much because I've been busy. But I did see The Bride, which you guys talked about last week. Didn't
Yeah, what did
really
you think?
like it. Thought
Did
it
you
was
listen
well.
to what me and Owen said? You could say no.
No,
Obviously.
I did not listen to what you guys said. I skimmed
Okay.
through the episode. I am curious why Owen liked it ish, but
Yeah, the
but I'll
gist
have
of
to,
it.
you don't have to recap an episode that listeners have already listened to.
Yeah, Owen was kind of like a big swing guy. He was kind of like
Yes.
listen.
Which,
He was like it doesn't take very much for him to like a movie about Frankenstein, right? Is kind of the gist.
yeah.
Like,
Which, like, that's kind of how I reacted to the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein this year, which was like, I just kind of like this movie because it's Frankenstein and not because it's a very good movie. I felt similarly at times during The Bride. I was like, oh, there are some swings here. But also I was like, are there? Like there were swings, and then I also got to the end of the movie, and I was like, I didn't really enjoy any of that. So I don't know if I'll applaud it for the swings. Like I mean, it's cooler that it happened than if it was just like a movie with nothing to talk about. Like if it was just a bad movie that was, like that didn't generate any conversation, that would be worse. But yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't really care for it. Um,
I was kind of
I
like the movie for a lot of the runtime. I was like, you know what? It's not that bad. It's like fine. And then when I got to the end of the movie, I was like, man, I like never want to watch this movie again.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, it has its moments where I'm like, okay, this is just pretty good. I knew while I was watching it, I was like, I'm sure Owen is gonna like the scenes in like the movie theater when he keeps going back to watch the
He
the
did.
Jake Gyllenhaal movies, and I was like, that's a
Yes.
thing that Owen would appreciate.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I rewatched To Catch a Thief because my girlfriend, it was like a Hitchcock movie that she had really wanted to watch for a long time, and I'm writing a paper currently about Notorious, which is not To Catch a Thief, but instead of watching Notorious, she was like, "Can we watch To Catch a Thief?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can." So I rewatched To Catch a Thief. That movie's pretty dang good. I've already said that on the pod before. I think the last time I watched it was not that long ago. Um, I went to theaters to see Undertone in Dolby, which is the new movie that got released this weekend, although we are not talking about it on this podcast. But I'll talk
Sorry.
about it a little bit. Uh, what I will say is that I don't know if you and Owen would like it at all. Um,
Yeah.
and I personally don't know if I even really like it at all, apart from the fact that it was fun to see at the movies. I like it was just like a fun time. It was a fun night. I went with my girlfriend and my friend, and I was properly scared because I get scared easily. The movie itself, not totally impressive. I think, I wouldn't knock the sound design. I think in Dolby it was pretty cool. I know some people have been like, actually, it's not even all that. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
Imagine if the sound design
Um,
was bad for the sound horror movie.
yeah, I
That
didn't
would be
think
a
it was bad.
disaster.
I thought that part was cool. The script is somewhat of a disaster.
Right.
I it's you don't want to do like a total cinema sins thing when you're watching it, but at the same time, it's like one of those where you can't ignore how dumb some of the story is, where like and it gets repetitive a little bit because the like kind of plot device that they use is like she's a podcaster. Every night in the middle of the night she's gonna get in front of her like laptop with her mic and like record a bit of the podcast, and that like shit's gonna be scary every time she records the podcast. And then you go to the next day and like stuff's back to normal, and then as soon as we get to night again and like she's podcasting again, like something creepy is gonna happen. The weird part about it is that like it's like not how podcasts work, and it's like kind of impossible to ignore, where she'll like they're recording the same podcast episode for like the entire movie, but it happens across like multiple nights, which like granted, to pull back the curtain a little bit on today's podcast episode, Doug and I are recording right now during the day and then coming back later tonight to react to the Oscars, right? But in this movie, across like 5 days, she keeps coming back and recording like 10-minute increments, and she's
Well,
doing this at like 3 a.m. with some guy
what's
who's in England, like overseas in England.
what's the subject of their podcast?
It's like a horror podcast. Like it's like spooky. They react to like spooky shit, and the guy like sets it up at the beginning where he's like, I got this email with these 10 audio recordings, like some random email sent me 10 audio recordings. We're going to react live to the audio recordings on the podcast, and so they like listen to the audio recordings, and they're like supposed to be spooky audio recordings, and I guess they are, but but yeah, it's strange because she'll literally just like record the podcast for 10 minutes. Something creepy will happen to her like in the movie, and then she'll just be like, hey, I gotta go. and her like podcast co-host is just like cool with it. Like they recorded 10 minutes of a podcast at 3 a.m. and he's just like, all right, yeah, get some sleep. We'll keep recording tomorrow. And it's like none of it is it's like it's just very strange. The actual like way that it's organized, I'm like, none of this makes sense. And then they also do like live podcast like call-ins towards the end of the movie where they're like they're recording the pod and they're like, hey, we're going to be recording the podcast like next episode at this time, so if you want to call into the show, we'll answer your calls live. And I'm like, I don't know if that's really how this works at all.
It
But
seems like they got a real like production trying to go on. It seems like they're trying to do a kind of like a highly produced like reply all kind of podcast.
yes, except it's like not that. And not only is it like not that, there's also scenes where because of the audio files being presented to her, like off podcast, she'll pull the audio files into like GarageBand and then just like expand them and like listen to them like slowed down. So and then like some creepy thing happens. And I'm like, this is again, it's like the script is just bad. Like it's like there's no real way around how bad the script is. I thought it was kind of like bad in an amusing way. Like I was like, this is fun, and also like I'm still scared because I was just waiting for things to pop up at me, and like the atmosphere of it works. I was like, yeah, sure, it's scary. It's no like Skinamarink, you know, in terms of like that kind of like
No, yeah.
it's like in the same vein, I guess, kind of. Yeah, it's nothing like that, but it's like it's fun. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if lots of listeners of the pod are disappointed. Um, I rewatched a couple movies that I don't have to spend much time talking about. I rewatched Remember the Titans. It's just like very weird reason to rewatch it, but it just happened. And then I rewatched it was just an accident because I was, you know, talking to my girlfriend about like Oscar nominated movies that she hadn't seen. She had seen most of the Best Picture nominees, and I was like, this should be a Best Picture nominee, and like you should definitely see this one. So I rewatched that. Really like that movie. Still stand by the fact that it should be a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah, really
Pretty
like
crazy.
so obviously like you should take out Train Dreams and put in It Was Just an Accident and take out F1 and put in Avatar.
Yeah, I think
Right?
the biggest issue, which is just proven to be true, I know like this was a lot of people's reactions after it got snubbed, is that like only so many movies could be international Best Picture nominees, and they gave it to Sentimental Value and The Secret Agent, and giving it to three of them just feels unheard of. It would have to be a something would have to happen that year for them to like just not be able to choose between all the movies. And I guess it was just an accident. It's like it didn't break that mold. And then I have been watching a lot of Oscar nominated shorts. There are still feature films that I haven't seen, but I was like, I'm not going to catch up on really anything before the Oscars, so I might as well just try to squeeze in as many shorts as I can. So I watched 4 out of 5 in the animated short category and the live action short category. I have not watched the documentary shorts, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to before tonight. But I've seen most of
The
the.
Donkey documentary short seems good.
I'm actually kind of interested in that one. Yes, that one seems like fun. I just more and more I am unimpressed and like less interested by the documentary shorts specifically. Like documentary features, they still sometimes make interesting decisions. I feel like documentary shorts are like they could only be one thing, and that one thing starts to get very annoying. And I would personally rather just probably watch documentary features. So I focused on the live action and animated shorts. I will say mostly pretty good. Specifically in the animated category, there's one that I haven't seen, and I know it's the one that people are saying is like not very good. But of the animated ones that I've seen, I liked all of them. I think that the standout or the standouts in terms of the actual animation are The Girl Who Cried Pearls and Butterfly. I think you would probably really like The Girl Who Cried Pearls. It's like very cool stop motion animation. It's like pretty incredible, actually. Like the craft in that one specifically is like unreal. I feel like compared to at least the other nominees. Um, but also Butterfly is kind of unreal in a similar way, where it's like gorgeous, like hand painted animation, and like the transitions between the paintings are very beautiful. And it's cool to watch and cool to look at. I'm a fan of the animation in both of those. But Retirement Plan is very sweet. I really like the ideas in Retirement Plan. It's simple and sweet, and maybe too simple to actually like win the Oscar, but I personally would favor that if I was an Oscar voter, because it feels like you kind of just have to like do the most in the shorts categories to win sometimes. And
Right.
that like a movie that isn't just like very blatantly about a serious like political topic is never going to win. So I don't know. I watched Forever Green as well. That's the fourth of the animated shorts I saw. It's definitely the worst one, from the perspective of like both the animation and just like the story. But I still cried anyway, so I kind of liked it because it's very sad. But then it kind of turns into like a weird piece of religious propaganda, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit strange. um, but it's cute, and it made me cry. The live action shorts were a little more hit or miss. I thought that two people exchanging saliva was pretty incredible. I kind of loved it.
Hmm.
Um, I would have watched it as a feature length film. And it's clear that the creators of that one specifically probably have a lot more resources at their disposal than some of the other shorts in this category. They have like some real like prominent international, I guess, actors, like not people who you would know as like big Hollywood actors, but actors who are established in this short. And then they also have very big like Hollywood producers. So clearly they have more in the resource department. It's still very well made. Like I would love to watch these two directors make a feature length film. I thought it was interesting. I've seen a lot of people compare it to like a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. It is kind of that, but it's also kind of its own thing as well. And I think like the world that they create is pretty fascinating. I thought it was enthralling. I thought it was a great little short. I also really liked the short The Singers, which kind of fits into the Retirement Plan mold of like this is probably too simple as an idea to like win the Oscar, but it should be considered. It's just a story about a bunch of guys at a bar who are all like lonely old men, kind of, or not all, they're not all old, but they're all just like kind of lonely men hanging out at a bar. And then this old guy is like reminded by the bartender, he's like, hey, can you like sing for us? Because he used to be a great singer apparently, but he's clearly like withering away and like dying. And then eventually he starts singing, and then it leads like other guys to start singing, and then like the whole bar just kind of like comes alive because people are singing, and they're like, and these lonely men find some community and
It's
song, and
like
I'm like,
that TikTok.
I don't know what you're referring to.
You know that viral TikTok where it was like going to the bar after the pandemic, and it's the one guy singing the soccer song.
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that TikTok.
Well, listener of the pod, you probably know, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
Anyway, it's kind of like it's kind of like a really long like Super Bowl ad, but it's like actually well crafted. Like it's it's pretty solid. The two that I was like less in love with, Jane Austen's period drama kind of felt like the kind of thing that I would like. But it's like 13 minutes long or something, and the jokes kind of get old after like minute two or three. It's like a lot of people have called it like a very long SNL sketch.
Yeah.
Um, the humor, it's okay. there's there's some really stupid jokes in it where I'm like, yeah, this is like stupid in a way that I think is funny. And then there's some stuff where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on from this. Um, a Friend of Dorothy is sweet and kind of not good at all. but it's sweet. It's very well acted. It's the rest is questionable. And those are the shorts that I've seen so far ahead of Oscars night, and that's what I've watched. So we can wrap up there and move on to reacting to the Oscars.
I don't wanna do your dirty work no more. I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Oh yeah. It's a little
Thank
Dan
you.
Steely there.
Yeah, thank you for that lovely intro. Doug and I are here minutes after the Oscars have ended. We have plenty to talk about. Really, like a lot to talk about. I would like to start maybe by discussing all of the non-award related topics, and then we can kind of just move through discussing all of the winners and talk about whichever winners we actually think are deserving of a longer conversation. So I guess natural place to start would be with our predictions. We made Oscar predictions on the pod just a few weeks ago. There were a couple categories in which we actually successfully did not get any points. All three of us
That's
managed
so
to pick
crazy.
the wrong winner, but the point totals came out to
I
third
fucked up
place.
so bad.
Third place, Douglas with 6 correct picks. Second place was me with 8 correct picks, and first place was Owen with 9 correct picks. And it came down to the last award. Owen got Best Picture correct, and Doug and I did not.
Owen's so
Owen
funny because he
one.
doesn't care at all.
No, he doesn't. But he's pretty spot on when it comes to these prediction games.
He's
I
just
feel
good
like
at
he actually
he's
does.
just good at sports.
Yeah.
He just has like a sports brain.
It's funny because it was way more like the way that we approached our predictions was like way more strategy based than just the previous years where it's just like name your winner, you know? So I think in previous years, maybe I wouldn't have as much faith in Owen, but because there was like a game involved strategy, it gave him a little bit of an edge, I guess. And his strategy worked out. I felt like for a second I was gonna win there because I was watching the broadcast along with our predictions, and I was starting to make a comeback, and then I took the lead for a while, and then Owen got like the last 3 or 4 correct. So that was brutal. Anyway, that's how our predictions went. Talking about the show specifically, what did you think about Conan O'Brien coming back?
I had such a good time. This was like
the same way.
This was so great. I had such a great night. Such a great night. This was amazing.
It was a lot of I saw a lot of people being like, oh, some of the jokes aren't like hitting the second year around. Not my perspective, first of all. Second of all, I just felt like the whole show really, for the most part, nailed like 95% of it. We could talk about like some of the slip ups, but mostly I think they did like an incredible job. And the fact that the winners mostly ended up being the favorites, like the stuff that we expected in the end, and the broadcast was still as entertaining as it was, I think is a really good sign.
Well,
right?
there were some really good speeches.
Yeah.
And the presenters are really solid. And yeah,
there are some bad ones. We could talk about those too, but
sure.
But Conan specifically, incredible host. I could watch him host the next 100 Oscars if he wanted to. Obviously, not going to happen.
Well, Mr. Beast is doing it next year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, but really, he's so incredible. I thought the opening bit was terrific. If we're going from beginning to end, I thought the opening bit was terrific. It got funnier and funnier. I thought that his opening monologue was like a knockout opening monologue. There were a couple jokes that you knew kind of had to be in there, right? Obviously, they had to do the ballet opera joke, and Eventually, at some point in the night, those references got a little bit tired, but like,
But they weren't, the last hour there was none of that stuff, so it was fine.
yes, true. And also there were like some specific jokes in there where I was like, oh, just kind of let him cook a little bit. Like when he was roasting Ted Sarandos and it was like authentic,
he was
you
like
know what I
laying
mean?
it
Like
thick. He was
yeah,
he
there
was
was like
pissed,
real
bro.
anger.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty awesome. And same with like the American pedophiles joke, like
Mhm.
about pedophiles getting arrested. I was like, this is really good stuff, Also, probably the funniest I laughed in the most I laughed in the opening monologue was when he spoke Spanish 3 times in a row.
That was funny. That was good.
That was a really good joke. Yeah, I don't know if there are any other ones you want to bring up, at least in
No,
the opening
well, the
monologue, but
the intro to the opening monologue, which is like the long video of like him weapons running through all of the Best Picture nominees, right?
yeah,
That was really funny. That was really
yeah.
creative and cool. Um, yeah, I like that a
And
lot.
then I would add that throughout the broadcast, they had some incredible bits. I was taking notes. I wrote down specifically, I thought the Ventura Crossroads thing was super funny. I really liked that. I'm really mostly I kind of liked everything that Conan was involved in. The Subway Surfers thing was funny. Like the best bits were when they just let Conan do stuff. Like
The Subway
it's
Surfers bit
clear.
was funny. I saw some people did not think that was funny. I thought that was really, it made me laugh when he went 6'7". I was like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I really, and even when it wasn't him doing like a prepared bit, it was still like this guy's the man, kind of like when they tried to play somebody off and it cut to Conan and he just didn't say his lines and just like waited for them to stop playing the music so that the person could like finish their speech. I was like, this is why this guy is a good host. Like he's the real deal. um so A plus for Conan again for the second year in a row, I think. Yeah. Then what else should we talk about as far as non-award stuff? I think maybe the biggest thing that I would mention is that
The In
Javier Bardem
Memoriam.
is the coolest guy in the world. Oh yes, we'll talk about the In
Oh,
Memoriam as well. But
yeah.
um I think both of those things are kind of
Yeah.
very important conversation
Free
topic. Like maybe more so even
Palestine.
than a lot of the awards wins is just like the biggest takeaway. Number one, Javier Bardem is like way more courageous than anybody else in Hollywood times a million. Which like you would think what he did up there is not something that requires that much courage, but everybody in Hollywood is kind of spineless. And it's incredible that Javier Bardem is as famous as he is and still consistently does stuff like this. Like truly coolest guy in the world. I think it's also important that during the Oscars, people remind you that this is all like bullshit and not really that important. And it's a shame that Javier Bardem was the only person who did that, like on stage at least. Well, some speeches definitely, but uh, yeah, the In Memoriam highlight of the night, I think, by kind of a lot, like not even close.
Yeah,
I
it was
was
intense. It was crazy. They
Yeah,
took that
I
shit
I
seriously.
they
And
took
there's
it
so many
very
people
seriously.
that like, I don't know about you. There's so many people I forgot died. Like Udo Kier. I was like, oh my God, yeah, Udo Kier died. And the Val Kilmer, like it felt like that was so long ago that,
Yeah. I'm not quite as, like, forgetful with the In Memoriam because I feel like I just kinda, like, talk about celebrities dying a lot because it makes me sad, but yeah, I was, like, pretty overwhelmed by the entire thing,
oh my
and,
God.
this is, like,
Bro,
one of those
when
things where
she
it's like
started singing,
yeah,
bro, that was crazy. That was
it's
fucking crazy.
it's definitely one of those moments where they slipped up a little bit. Like, obviously, it stinks that Tom Noonan wasn't included. That was like kind of upsetting, and this kind of happens every year. And like in general, there's always going to be people that they don't include because the in memoriam can't be several hours long. Um, but I do think that this approach is the best approach that you could possibly have to an in memoriam, like doing several dedicated sections of it, focusing on people's lives and legacies in a way that goes like well beyond a fucking PowerPoint slideshow,
Mhm.
is I think the right way to approach something like this. Uh, and yeah, I don't know. It was just like I was crying the whole time because it's just like it's really nice to be reminded that we're sharing a planet with artists of this caliber and that they've had like such an effect on our lives. And I really fucking struggle with that. Like I really struggle to just like think about that and not get emotional. And I want the in memoriam to make me emotional, like and I think they uh achieved that. Yeah, it was great. We can probably talk about awards winners slash speeches. I'm trying to remember if there's anything that's like significant apart from actual awards related stuff that I missed. Uh, but if I think of anything, we can kind of. Oh, duh! The original song performances. There's two of them.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the I
I lied
Lied
to
to
you
You
and Golden.
performance was the I
Uh,
Lied to You performance was so good.
Incredible. I really kind of
It
wish they
just
were flipped in order. I really wish
yeah,
that Golden came first and I Lied to You was later in the broadcast.
such a sick
Um,
song. I lied to you.
yeah,
I
no, that was
love the blues. I love the blues. Um, and then I don't know the words, but that's they only did like half of the Golden though. They only did like the first verse and the first chorus, right?
yeah.
So
Maybe they cut some of it for time.
mhm.
They
It
didn't,
went
but
way over, bro. I'm like 40 minutes over.
yeah, by quite a bit. But also, like, I don't know. That's the expectation. That's another thing that I feel like is uh worth mentioning is that I don't like the worst parts of the broadcast are when the broadcast prioritizes being a broadcast and not just like being something for people who are fans of movies because you just
Which
don't need to be doing that. Like we will just sit there for an extra 40 minutes and watch the Oscars. It's fine. Like
yeah,
like
like
really it's fine.
they cut off the Golden songwriters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst moment of the night, I think like by far was them getting cut off during their speech. And it's like it's so painful to watch because they're like begging to just like talk for a few extra seconds and genuinely who is it affecting? Like
Well, it's
who
like also it's the best nights of these people's lives. For
yes.
most of these people's lives is the best night of their life, you know.
Yeah,
And
like of
to
course.
kind of transition into talking about the awards, the first award of the night, Amy Madigan. That's what kind of I'm not mad about anybody that won, you know, because I was watching and Amy Madigan went up there and was giving the speech and she was so genuine and it was such a
Yeah.
good speech. I was like, yeah, this is just like the Oscars are just watching these people be so excited and so happy up to be recognized by their peers and something so singular and so like that'll never happen again for them and it's the best nights of their lives. I was like, yeah, this is incredible because that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's not sports. It's not sports. You're not
I
rooting for a team, you know.
I think that's very well put. And it is like it is one of those things where I find a balance in it. I said, well, we'll go winner by winner, but like I kind of said something similar about Michael B. Jordan, where it was like, Michael B. Jordan in that category, probably like my fourth favorite performance, right? Like not the guy who I was rooting for. However, I both love Michael B. Jordan and it's really cool to see him win an Oscar, And I think that both things could be true. And I felt the same way with Amy Madigan, where I was like, kind of bums me out that it's just nowhere near the performance that I would have wanted to see awarded. But also when she's up there, it's like, yeah, that's a human being, and like
Yeah.
it's a
And they're
very cool
obviously
thing.
like they really care about it and they're really
Yeah,
happy and their peers are very proud of them. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, bro, this shit's not a fucking it's not a sport, you know. It's like me,
yeah,
you know, it's you can empathize with these people. Cuz I
yeah.
yeah.
I think there has to be, even if you're like upset about somebody winning or losing, I feel like you have to have some level of empathy towards it, or you're just like approaching it entirely the wrong way.
Mhm.
Um, And it is just like also a fun night. Like I get that it's like a major career achievement. It's also like everybody's just kind of like you're already being celebrated for being there. Like you're in a room with like the most talented artists in your field.
I
Like
was
it's
watching the red carpet coverage beforehand a little bit, only like an hour of it, and there was like
right.
2.5 hours of coverage I think beforehand. So I watched like the last hour of the red carpet coverage. That shit would stress me the fuck out. It would
Yeah.
stress me out so bad. It looks so like not fun. The red carpet part. Being in the auditorium seems like it'd probably be chill, but like the red carpet, it's like you're shuffling in for like a college graduation.
Yeah.
Um, and
I
like that looks stressful to me.
I wonder if I wouldn't enjoy the red carpet more than actually being in there if I was a nominee. If
Mhm.
I'm just like in the audience watching the show, obviously it's way more fun to just like be in the audience watching the show. But the level of stress that I would feel as a nominee would probably be amplified times a million, like
Well,
once we're actually sitting in the theater.
especially if you're one of the more famous nominees where like the camera's just on you all night, bro.
Yeah,
They
I
cut to
know.
Elle
Like every
Fanning like
time.
3 times for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah. Okay. Let's go through each category, and in the process, you could mention any thoughts you have, but also if we want to talk about
what before we go
uh
category by category, I have one more question to ask you. Sorry.
sure.
Um,
Go nuts.
best dressed person of the night that you
Uh
noticed.
um
I have my answer on lock.
I did watch a little bit of the red carpet, and now I'm like completely blanking on whose outfits I liked the most, but I know there was somebody I texted someone about somebody, and I'm forgetting who I texted them about. And I think we also in our group chat texted about somebody on stage who was wearing a really good outfit, and
There's
I don't
somebody on
remember.
stage that I think is the best dressed of the night.
Oh, okay. Who was your answer then?
Anne Hathaway.
Oh,
Anne
okay.
Hathaway looked insane.
Yeah. I mean, Anne Hathaway. Also,
Well, yeah.
that was a funny bit as well.
Oh,
Her
that was funny.
outfit
Where
was
she
just
just
like not
it was
acknowledged
like
by
a
Anna
Deatherworth.
Wintour at
Yeah, it was
all.
like
Yeah.
it
That was
Deatherworth run a
good.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I have an answer to question. I need to like do a I like to look after. Like I like to like after the show's over, or like the next day I'll like go on whatever where you could just like see all the images of people of the best dressed people and kind of like go through them. I think it's fun. Um yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I yeah, like I said, we'll talk about speeches a little bit. We'll talk about winners, losers, and then if there's anything else like related to a specific category when we get to it, if you want to mention like presenters or whatever, anything of like significance, we can talk about that as we go through as well. We'll go in the order of the broadcast, so we'll start with Best Supporting Actress. We've already kind of touched on it. Amy Madigan wins the award. I'm in agreement with you that I thought she gave a pretty solid speech. Cool to
Really
see her
set the tone
win.
well for the night.
Yeah, it was I think
Not
a
who either
little
of us were
bit.
like rooting for, but
No, I think it
yeah.
was a little bit indicative of people's sentiments throughout the night and like how people would respond to the show. Obviously, a lot of people online were very upset when she won, and so it kind of made them feel a certain way about the broadcast. Not my reaction, but I know that that's how people were feeling. I think it also kind of played a role in how people perceived who would win later in the night because
Mhm.
if Wunmi Masaku won this award, maybe a lot of people would be convinced that Sinners was kind of on its way to winning Best Picture, and that ended up not being the case. This is a pretty wide open category, but also Amy Madigan was still a pretty solid favorite. Not much else to say there. Uh, Best Animated Feature was the next award. This went to K-pop Demon Hunters. Very unsurprisingly. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just like not much else to say here because I
So
didn't
Channing
watch
Tatum
a
is really
single.
funny.
Yes, Channing Tatum was very
Yeah.
funny. I did not watch a single one of these nominees, so I know you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't know if you've seen any of the others.
No,
So by
K-pop Demon
default, I
Hunters
guess
is the
this is your
only
favorite.
I guess by default. I don't hate K-pop Demon Hunters, but it's like fine. I don't get why I don't get how it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
But
sure
it's
if I
fine.
watched all the nominees, I don't know if it would be my favorite, but I also don't know when I'm gonna watch any of the nominees. So good for K-pop Demon Hunters. Happy for them. I thought the speech was just fine. There were a couple speeches I think early on in the show where I was just like not totally drawn in. I think it really wasn't until we got to some major awards that the speeches got really good. Um, Best animated short went to The Girl Who Cried Pearls.
Yeah, which you recommended earlier in the show.
I did, yeah.
It looks really good. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. I thought it was, listen, a lot of times the Oscars do very bad when it comes to voting in the shorts categories. I think they did a really good job this year. And this is proof of that. This was not the winner that shouted out Timothy Chalamet, right? That was later in the broadcast for live action. Yes. Okay.
mhm.
We'll get there. Best costume design was next. This was one of the multiple wins for Frankenstein, something that we predicted would happen and that we kind of didn't really want to happen
It's
at
a little
all. But
silly, but it's whatever. It doesn't
I think the
matter.
most Oscars thing about tonight was Frankenstein winning 3 Oscars or
Because
whatever it was.
really logically, it doesn't make sense. Um,
Yeah,
but because like that's the stuff that, and I'll say like that stuff is what makes, it's a part of what makes movies really great, you know. And I think like in the categories it won, I was like, oh, there's a better movie that I think was a little bit more deserving of the win. But also I'm really happy for the people that won though. They won up and they gave great speeches, I think, and they were obviously like, you could tell that it really mattered to them, that they were really proud. And you know, you could see like Guillermo del Toro and Mia Goth and Jacob Elordi were super excited and
yeah,
proud for their crew. So like that's what I mean when it's like it's not sports, where it's like you can be like, oh, I don't think Frankenstein is the most deserving to win in this award, which I don't think it was for any of the awards it won, right? But
yeah,
also it's like I could be excited for those individual people that did work really hard on that part of the movie and were successful and were recognized by their peers, and like their coworkers are super excited for them on the biggest stage, and it's like the biggest night of their lives. That's, you know, so yeah.
yeah. No, that makes sense. Where would you have gone for costume design? I feel like Marty Supreme would have
Costume
been.
design, I was saying either Marty Supreme or Avatar.
Yeah, or Avatar. That
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. Makeup and hairstyling, we get the back-to-back Frankenstein wins.
which is fine. I think it's valid.
I think this, yeah, I agree. I think this one is a little bit more acceptable than costume design, and then the later uh, award that Frankenstein won. I think this is probably the most deserving of the three, I guess, that it won.
Oh, for sure. If
Um,
we're comparing it just to the other two categories, yeah.
yeah. Uh, Next up, and this was, I think, a big deal. This was probably the first moment of the night, with the exception of Best Supporting Actress, where stuff actually got exciting when it came to a winner. Best Casting
Mhm.
went to One Battle After Another, the, I think, heavy
So
favorite with
valid.
Sinners,
Yeah.
um, and One Battle After Another ended up beating it. This was also the moment of the night where I became convinced that the Sinners momentum was not real as far as Best Picture goes. Like, once
Yeah,
One Battle
it's
After
hard
Another
to,
got the
yeah.
upset in Best Casting, I was like, it's over. Like, Best Picture locked up, really wasn't as much suspense for the rest of the night.
In our Oscar predictions episode where we picked all the winners, I said that Marty Supreme was the most deserving for this award, which I still kind of like. I think my logic makes sense because of the stunt casting that was really successful, as well as the extras casting that really make elevates the movie, as opposed to if those things were worse, right? But I think that um the casting in One Battle is really perfect. From, you know, obviously the big stars like Benicio and Leo, and then, you know, as well as like the discoveries, the major discovery being Chase Infinity, which that casting alone just like makes justifies the win. But also like Tiana Taylor was not in like um very many movies before this. She was she only in one feature film before this, and
I think a few more than that, but
and like Jungle Pussy, and like these like smaller like the cast of the, and like the nuns, and as well as like the guy that's like the interrogator, right? um you know, like all that stuff like really like matters. That's
Yeah.
like matters in the movie a lot. So
Down to
super
like
valid
even
point.
very small casting. Someone in my replies on Twitter, I think, replied to me about this being like, it's a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like they probably cast whoever they asked. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you realize that Paul Thomas Anderson wasn't just like, yeah, let me go get Chase Infinity. You know, like that's not a person who was in a movie before.
No, yeah,
Um,
literally, I've never been in a movie.
yeah. Also, I think worth mentioning this category is just like for the first time it ever existed, it is a stacked category, like
It's crazy.
incredibly stacked category for the first year of best casting. I was
Yeah.
like shocked. I guess we talked about this a little bit prior, but like actually watching the nominees like during the show, I was like, man, that category is so good. Anyway, after best casting is when we get to the live action shorts. This was one of the big moments of the night because a tie happened,
Yeah, a
which
tie happened. That
I
was so
I
funny because
wasn't
he was like,
aware that
"It's a
6 other
tie. This is
ties had
not a
happened.
joke."
Yeah, I wasn't aware that 6 other ties had happened before.
Do you know what they were? Do you
I
remember when
could
you looked it
I
up?
could look it up. I kind of just looked up the number. I didn't really read it, but
That
I
was
could
crazy.
see.
That was so
Let's see.
bizarre.
So in 1931/32, there was an actor tie
That's
for
crazy.
Frederick March and Wallace Beery for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and the Champ.
That's crazy.
Um,
Imagine if there was an actor tied this year. People would have
yeah, that would have been
they're
crazy.
rioted in the streets. That's crazy.
Um, oh, interesting. Though there's a note for this one that says it actually wasn't a true tie. Frederick March had one more vote, but the rules at the time stated that if an achievement came within 3 votes of the winner, that achievement would also receive the award, which I guess is a rule that they changed later on. 1949, there was a documentary short tie.
Mhm.
In 1968, there was an actress tie, Katharine Hepburn and Barbara Streisand for The Lion in
Katharine
Winter and
Hepburn
Funny Girl.
Hepburn and Barbara Streisand shared an Oscar. That's how
Yeah,
do people not know that?
I
That's
also didn't know
crazy.
that. Yeah. There was a documentary feature tie in 1986, another live action short tie in 1994. And then in 2012, I don't remember this, but I watched this Oscars. In 2012, there was a sound editing tie between Skyfall and Zero Dark 30, which I don't remember happening,
That's crazy. Okay.
but also I was like 12 watching that, so that's
That
probably
award
why I
doesn't
don't
exist
remember.
anymore also.
Yes, that's also true. Well, now it's just best sound,
Yeah, it's
but
just best sound, which is
um,
different.
it's different, but it
Yeah.
encompasses the previous
Yes.
award. Yeah. Anyway, so there were 6 winners before. Now we get a 7th with best live action short film, and this kind of adds to what I was saying before about the Oscars actually making good decisions with the shorts categories because I watched 4 of these 5 shorts, and my 2 favorite shorts are the 2 that tied. So, um, pretty cool of the Oscars. I didn't expect that. This was the category though where what I hinted at earlier, the winner went up and made a dig at Timothy Chalamet's
Mhm.
opera ballet thing, which he didn't even say the right thing. I think he said ballet and theater.
Yeah, he said ballet and
But
theater.
uh but still, yeah, my only thing it's like whatever. I just hate that this had like become such a big story. And also
It's ridiculous, but it's
it's
fine. Also, Timothée Chalamet shouldn't have said it, but it doesn't matter. You
yes,
know,
and I agree. I think you guys talked about that a little bit last week. I agree that he shouldn't have said it and definitely shouldn't have said it the way he said it. It's also like, I don't know, like what I mentioned before, where everybody is too cowardly to make a political statement the way that Javier Bardem did, but nobody's afraid to like take digs at Timothy Chalamet. It's like this isn't a real thing, you know? And then on top of that, I do think it's a little bit lame to win an Oscar and be thinking about Timothy Chalamet in your speech. Like it's, I don't know. There's probably more important things to say in your speech for like the biggest moment of your life, but whatever. Um, Regardless, the person who said it was responsible for a very good short. So good for him. Best supporting actor was up next. Also a significant moment for
Mhm.
tonight because it was the not only a historic moment in that Sean Penn won his third Oscar, but the only moment of the night where somebody won an Oscar and was not present to receive it. Uh, Kieran Culkin also had a funny like delivery here where he announced Sean Penn was the winner, and then when he accepted it on his behalf, he said something like Sean Penn couldn't be here tonight, and then after he was like, or he didn't want to.
Yeah, or he didn't
Um,
want to. That was funny. That was
yeah,
so anticlimactic. He was like, "I'm accepting it on his behalf," and then just walked
yeah,
away.
yeah. Karen Culkin knows what he's doing. Yeah, I don't know. Cool win. I know you were happy about this win. Like Sean Penn is who you wanted to win. He
Yeah,
wasn't my
most is
favorite in the category, but like I think that people have no reason to be upset over this
yeah.
the way that
He
they are.
was he was my favorite in the category by a lot. I think it was super deserved. I think it's kind of swag that Sean Penn is the way he is.
Yeah.
And like he
I
just
mean,
like
it's very
wins.
funny.
He
It's
just gets to
very
win.
funny. Yeah.
He just like is the way he is, acts the way he acts in his movies, and then wins. It's like
Yeah.
okay, does nothing and
And
wins.
to be fair, exceptional actor. I mean, just like
Unbelievable.
unreal. Uh yeah, I don't know. Rare company to have three Oscars, but also, the guy's good at what he does. Probably the win of the night, I guess that would upset people the most if I had to guess. But in general, I think what upsets the people the most is just the Sinners disappointment, like categories in which they thought Sinners was going to win and it didn't. Um,
So it was still a big night for Sinners, though. They still
Still a
won a
big
lot of
night, sure.
big
Yeah, I mean,
categories.
Coogler got to go up on stage, which is important. And we all love Ryan Coogler. We'll get there.
Mhm.
Anyway, anticlimactic, but Sean Penn wins Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Screenplay. This is probably the moment where the speeches went up in quality, I would say. Both
Both of
Coogler
these
and
were great.
PTA nailed their screenplay speeches. I think two of the best speeches of the night. I know you were very passionate about the PTA speech.
The PTA speech is
Yeah,
incredible, and he like and PTA was like he summed up what I connect with about One Battle After Another with so much, which is like kind of like this generational portrayal, right? Where it's like the older generation made a worse place for the younger generation, and that's what PTA touches
yeah,
on in like 10 seconds, and it's like, man, yeah. And
yeah,
but he does it in like the auteur theory way too, where he was like, about like me leaving a worse place for my kids, but then like but they'll fix it, they'll figure it out. It's like yeah, incredible. Love that movie.
yeah. I agree. It's incredible. It's also a big moment because obviously he won multiple, but that was technically PTA's first
First Oscar,
Oscar
yeah.
win. Yeah, so very significant. Crazy, but that's his first one, but very significant. I think also the Kugler speech after that was great. There was like a moment where Kugler was talking about his kids, and then he said memories are all we have, and I was like, man, that's I could just listen to that guy talk forever, dude. Like he's like
Yeah.
truly, and also it's just like seeing him go up there. Obviously, Sinners didn't get the big award, but it's so clear that everybody else in the room thinks that Ryan Coogler is the coolest guy in the room. And not only
Everybody
does
loves
everybody
him.
else think it,
Yeah.
but it's true. It's like that is the coolest man in the room. He's awesome. I love Ryan Coogler. I have for a while, so that was pretty cool. Um, After the screenplay wins, we get to best production design. This is the third and final Frankenstein win. Um, Similar sentiment as the prior ones. I don't think either of us thought it was the most deserving winner, but also totally
No.
unsurprising that it got the award.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, correct. I think One Battle After Another was kind of the clear best in the category for me. But again, it's cool. Happy for these people that won.
yeah, yeah. And then we get to, I think, a moment that you and I both really enjoyed. Best visual effects was given to Avatar,
Presented by Sigourney
presented
Weaver.
by Sigourney Weaver.
It
Yes.
was really beautiful because she like read it and then she like paused and it was
Yeah, she was.
really
You could
cute.
tell like
She cares about
that.
this shit so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
was really
awesome.
sweet.
It's
It was kind of
awesome.
like it was underrated contender for like sweetest moment of the night. Like you could just like it was great. It was great. It made me very happy. I was smiling the whole time. And obviously big for us because it's the only Avatar Fire and Ash win at the Oscars. So
Yeah, it's so crazy
um,
that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. It's so
yeah,
crazy.
or really any other category,
Yeah.
but yeah, it gets a win there. We could say that Avatar Fire and Ash is an Oscar winner, which is true of every Avatar movie, I guess, right? Because Way of Water definitely won a few. Um, yeah. Anyway, best documentary short goes to All the Empty Rooms. I think we all kind of expected that. That was the favorite in the documentary short category. I haven't watched any of these,
I'm
but
gonna watch the donkey one.
which one?
The donkey one. I think I'll like it.
Yes, I would like to watch that one. This was also a moment where I was like, we didn't really talk as much about. I'm kind of losing place of like who the presenters were for each award, but there was a couple presenters I did not like, and this was one of them. Like
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel coming back out. I was like, man, we really won getting Conan. Like I felt that way during the entire broadcast, but then when Jimmy Kimmel came out and I got to compare the two, I was like, yeah, we really won with Conan as the
Yeah.
host.
But who's gonna be
like,
the best between them two and Mr. Beast?
you know, that's a much tougher competition. I mean, no, like really, like no, I wouldn't say that. Mr. Beast does not have Jimmy Kimmel levels of charisma and confidence, which is crazy because Jimmy Kimmel doesn't even have that much of it himself. But
Right.
but we're talking about Mr. Beast here. I mean, come on,
Do the Mr. Beast smile.
I'm not doing that. What was I gonna say? Yeah, those were like bad presenters. I don't know where at all in this thing it was, but RDJ and Chris Evans I thought were fucking brutal. I like literally get them off the
It
stage
ruined my fucking
immediately.
it ruined it when they walked out.
And it's crazy because they cut to Channing Tatum in the crowd after Channing Tatum had already presented an award, and I was like, you could have just cut this guy back up here again. Like he's just
Channing Tatum was charisma mocking them. Channing Tatum was so much better at this than they are.
It's crazy that they're up there. My thing is not even just that I don't really like their careers that much, with the exception of a few performances. It's also that like they are up there giving absolutely nothing as presenters, and they are the leads in the biggest franchise that has ever existed in movies. You know what I mean?
RDJ is the highest paid actor of all time,
history,
basically, and it's not even close.
Yeah, and he's just up there doing nothing, like stinking it up.
And RDJ is like, he's good in movies.
Yeah,
he's even good in the Marvel movies, but it's like, bro.
And I'll say it, even Chris Evans is occasionally. He's not nearly as good as RDJ, but occasionally he can act as well. And they were doing nothing up there.
Bro, Channing Tatum was charisma mogging both of them.
Yeah, like imagine the world in which Channing Tatum was Captain America. You know?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if I'd actually want that, but
yeah,
just in terms of like the fame that it's gotten, and Channing Tatum's famous enough, it's fine. But so that was documentary short. Documentary feature went to Mr. Nobody Against Putin. This was one of the, I guess, bigger surprises of the night, though I think it was second or third in the odds.
Yeah, it's not that crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if part of it, I don't know how, like, what goes into voters' minds, but The Perfect Neighbor was a documentary about a very American issue, on top of the fact that Best Documentary Short went to a documentary about a very American issue. So maybe they didn't want to like give, voters didn't want both the documentary winners to be about American problems as opposed to problems somewhere else. The other aspect is that documentary voters fucking love documentaries about Russia. Love them. Honestly, this win puts in perspective even more that No Other Land winning the Oscar is like maybe the most incredible Oscars win in history. In theory, like I can't believe that it won the fucking Oscar. Like they love documentaries about Russia.
Yeah.
That's not saying anything about the issues itself. It's just,
no, yeah,
I can't believe. I can't believe how often
there's a big bias.
Towards that. And not just that, but you and I talked about this a little bit earlier, even when I was covering what I've been watching with the shorts. But like, I'm just over the idea of issues driven documentaries being the only documentaries that get awarded at the Oscars. Not even awarded wins, awarded nominations. You know, it's so rare for a documentary to be nominated that isn't a major issues driven documentary. And I'm saying this as somebody who loves issues driven documentaries. If you look at my favorite documentaries, almost all of them are. But like people are making other documentaries, you know, like there are so many people making other documentaries. It's crazy to have that kind of bias at like the biggest award show in movies that, you know, like to only it's kind of like in the same way that people might complain about horror not getting attention at the Oscars, except this actually makes sense because it really doesn't get any attention. Like it's crazy.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about documentaries. Original score goes to Ludwig Göransson. Totally unsurprising. I think maybe one of the biggest favorites of the entire night.
Yep.
Very cool though. I thought his speech was great. I kind of think he's the man. I
He is
like
the
him a
man.
lot.
I like him a lot.
Also another one of those moments where you could see how much Ryan Coogler and really just like everybody involved in the movie loves their cast and crew. Like in this case, it's the fact that him and Ludwig Göransson are like friends for life, really, regardless of if they were collaborating or not. Best sound goes to F1.
Oh,
Uh,
stupid.
Pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
It's stupid. The sound's not
Um,
even that good.
yeah, I didn't see Surratt, but I saw a lot of people talking about how like that's a place where Surratt really should have gotten some credit. And it would have been like a cool surprise thing there as opposed to F1. But or even if they just gave it to, you know, like One Battle or Sinners or whatever, like the front runners, that would have been fine too. But whatever. It's F1. F1's an Oscar winner.
Oscar-winning picture F1,
Yeah.
produced by Jerry
It's
Bruckheimer.
It also is pretty I was thinking about this before where I was like, think about the other nominees that F1 has more Oscars than, you know, Marty Supreme, It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, you know, like
Yeah, shout out Panahi.
yeah,
Um,
pretty brutal. Um then we get to best film editing, which went to One Battle After Another. Uh Another moment where you kind of realize that One Battle After Another is almost certainly going to win Best Picture, I think. Like that just made me more confident. Not much else to say about that category. Best cinematography. This is a major category to discuss.
this was crazy.
Uh,
First woman to ever win this
yeah,
category.
yeah,
For
insane.
Sinners, a
Hmm.
movie with like a predominantly black cast, which is also like notable because you know you have to light movies differently for darker skin tones. Um, re- Listen, not obviously my favorite in the category, but like it's huge accomplishment, and I don't think that like it was the worst movie nominated for its thing. Of course, you know, there's like
Yeah,
moments and there's images in Sinners that are so powerful, that are some of the most powerful images of any movies last year were in Sinners for me. You
yeah.
know,
I
like
I think
like
I think as
the two brothers seeing the sun go down for the last time. You know, duh. Sorry,
yeah.
get you
No,
off.
there are several categories in which like my personal favorite pick was not the winner of those categories. This is like one of the wins that I'm the most happy about, you know, where it's like Sinners wasn't my number one choice for cinematography, still so deserving. Like right in the mix. And obviously like historic, crazy, awesome moment. It was a big deal. I thought her speech was incredible as well.
Mhm.
I think one of the best
She has a
speeches of the night.
great fit on
Yes,
too. She
that
got
is
that
that
shit
who we were
on.
talking about in the group chat about fits.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like maybe
that
that's who we were
was. I
talking
remember
about.
now.
Yeah.
That is who we were talking about. She got that shit on, bro. She had a great little jacket on. It was great.
Yeah. Um Also I think notable moment because it was one of the other only like surprise wins of the night where like the favorite didn't uh win the award because I think One Battle After Another was the betting favorite
Yeah, yeah.
in that one.
Bro, fuck Kalshi and Polymarket, bro. Nuke these goddamn prediction markets.
That's true. Yeah, that's a different topic, but also happy that they didn't like promote them in any way during the broadcast. Good sign. Best international feature film. This was one of my favorite moments of the night for several reasons. Number one is that Sentimental Value was my favorite movie of the year, and it won an Oscar, so that's pretty cool. The Secret Agent was like right behind it for favorite movie of the year, though, so kind of a like bittersweet thing where I would have liked to see that win as well, but what can you do? Also, I think very notable because Joachim Trier gave maybe my favorite speech of the night. I don't know. It's crazy to say because there were a number of good ones, but I think specifically to get up there and make a pretty overtly political statement for a movie that is like way less political than the ones that it was nominated against, like
Yeah.
not to compare. Obviously, like I love One Battle After Another and I love Paul Thomas Anderson, but like Paul Thomas Anderson isn't getting up there and giving political statements. Joachim Trier is doing it for a movie that is way less political than One Battle After Another. So I think that's very cool of him. And he had a kind of like a similar message to Paul Thomas Anderson about like we have to fucking do something for our children and like the world that we're leaving them, which I thought was very cool. And he quoted James Baldwin.
James Baldwin, that was one of the best. Yeah,
maybe the only time James Baldwin's been quoted on an Oscar stage. But I don't know. Someone could
probably not.
Yeah, maybe not actually, but kind of the GOAT. But so that's best international feature. Best original song. My only complaint is that why did it happen this late into the broadcast? I feel like that's kind of ridiculous. Went to Golden, K-pop Demon Hunters, totally unsurprising.
Yeah,
I don't even really know if we have to talk
like
about it.
Mega favorite. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Good song.
Should have been I Lied to You, but you know, it happens.
I lied to you. I love the blues. I love the blues. Anyways,
best directing, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another.
It was really cute when he was speech. Like, you make a guy work really hard for one of these. That was really cute.
I'm looking at my notes right now, and that is exactly what I wrote down. I was like, that's great. He gave back-to-back amazing speeches up there. He was killing it.
He's so interesting because he's just a guy, you know.
He's just a guy, and
he's a genius, but he's like just a guy.
You could tell when he's giving the speeches too. Like you see the nerves on him, you know. Like he's not a guy who's getting up there and being like super confident in his ability to talk to a room of his peers. He's like, no, I'm nervous and like I don't know what to say, but also, like you said, yeah, he's a fucking genius. So, yeah, that was really good. Best actor went to Michael B. Jordan, also one of the biggest moments of the night.
Crazy.
Pretty incredible.
I liked the presenting in that one where it was Adrian Brody and they were really like hamming it up with like the long speech bit. I thought that was funny.
I thought that was very funny as well. And I also like this was a win that to me, I kind of referenced this before, but like crazy win for me because Michael B. Jordan has been one of my favorite actors since like he wasn't even in good movies, you know, like he was doing like
just from The Wire, right?
Yeah, he was The Wire, Friday Night Lights, like on TV, but also like also he was doing like shitty rom-coms that I was watching as a teenager, you know, like he's come a long way and I've been watching it the whole time, like since I was a kid. I've adored Michael B. Jordan for my whole life. So I was like so happy for him. I think also very strong contender for speech of the night. I think anytime you put a mic in front of that guy, he's incredible. Like
so charismatic.
He's so charismatic. He's so confident. Like he totally controls the room. There were a number of like standing ovations tonight, but like very genuine standing ovation for Michael B. Jordan. Like obviously similar to the SAG reaction. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I said this already, but like not anywhere near my favorite performance out of the nominees, but also I love Michael B. Jordan so much that I'm happy anyway.
Very easily my least favorite. If I had to rank them, if it was like ranked choice voting and I was an Oscar voter, I would very easily rank it last. But that doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You know, that's the thing. It doesn't matter,
Again,
right?
yeah, that's
Like,
that's kind of the point I'm making is like I think similar for me. He's either fourth or fifth for me.
yeah.
Literally don't give a shit because
Mhm.
I've been a fan of Michael B. Jordan forever, and it's like the coolest thing in the world. Like,
And
how
it's
can I
not a
be upset?
bad performance. It's a good performance,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
I
And he's
mean,
a movie star, and he's like such an important cultural figure. You know,
yeah.
he's like the biggest black actor in the
Yeah.
in America. Yeah, it's
I
yeah.
would also just say like worth noting, I think, kind of like with the casting award, maybe the most stacked category, like literally ever. Not literally ever, but like it's incredible that these are the five best actor nominees
And they're
this
all
year.
like doing like career some of their career best stuff, or not, maybe not
Yeah.
like the literally career best, but like these are like legendary actors doing like top of their game stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Um Then we get to Best Actress, where Jessie Buckley wins, heaviest favorite of the night, I think. But I
She
was,
looked so surprised when she won. Did you see
I
that?
think, yeah, but I think it's also just like a you don't, but like you don't believe it until it actually happens. You
Yeah, that was
know, it's like
crazy.
she started crying immediately.
Yeah.
I listen. I love Jessie Buckley. I think a win for Ireland is a win for everybody. I I thought she was great up there. A lot of people are very upset about that win.
I
Literally, who
don't
gives a
whatever,
fuck?
bro. It's like even if you don't like that movie, I think she's doing good work in that.
I think
Whatever.
it
Maybe I'm
also,
biased. I'm biased. I love her. She could whatever. It's fine.
yeah, I think it also like factors into what you're saying about the sportification though, which is that like people get agitated when somebody is a favorite for too long. Like the fact that the award was decided months ago like pisses people off, you know? Like they don't want the favorite to win because it's not like, yeah, it's not like fun and exciting, but that's not the point. It's like that's not what we're there for. So anyway, and then we get to Best Picture, where One Battle After Another completes a pretty dominant award season run. Not the most dominant ever, but very close to it.
Yeah. I mean, like director and like the DGA Director Award and like screenplay and like the screenplay award and
Yeah,
Best Picture is like as well as like the producer Best Picture award. It's like, I mean, that's crazy, right? That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. It was a very successful run. And also like it's cool. I think as like a whole, the takeaway is that like the
Good
Oscars
movies can
are,
win.
yeah, good movies can win, and also the Oscars are just way more like worth watching when great movies are competing, and you
Yes.
know that a great movie is going to win. You know, like it's like
Yes.
when I was sitting there being like One Battle After Another or Sinners are going to win Best Picture tonight. It makes it worth watching the entire show. You know, like
I'll say it in hindsight, best nomin the best nomination of the whole show is, I think, Ethan Hawke and Blue Moon. Because like watching it and it's like, man, this is such a movie I love, and it's this the only place it's represented. It's like it's cool it's even here. It's awesome it's even here.
yeah, no, I mean, fair enough. That was the last thing. There was also a closing bit that we didn't talk about where Conan is Lockjaw and it's literally killed like live on TV.
That was really funny. And then they
Um,
slide out
yeah,
his name from Mr. Beast. That was
yeah,
so funny.
very very good way to end the show. All in all, incredible Oscars. I'd rate it a 10 out of 10 as far as like Oscars could go. You know, I think it's as
It's
close
hard to
as
get any better. Also, I mean,
it's as close
Nicole
as Perfect
Kidman,
Blue
and
gonna
we
get.
got a Moulin fucking Rouge reunion for Best
That's
Picture.
true.
I was
Yeah.
gonna cry my fucking eyes out, bro.
Yeah, I know you were happy about that. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention about the Oscars?
I love Nicole Kidman. I love One Battle After Another. I love the movies.
Yeah.
I had such a good time.
Yeah, same. Douglas, I have to give you the bad news now. I promised the people something and you're gonna have to stay up a little bit later. I know you're dying to get out of here.
What? What are you
We're
saying?
gonna we're gonna speed run your March Madness bracket. Are you ready?
Fuck. Yes. Okay.
All right. First game, Duke versus Siena.
Duke.
Okay. Ohio State versus TCU.
TCU.
Okay. St. John's versus Northern Iowa.
St. John's.
Okay. Kansas versus Cal Baptist.
Kansas.
Okay. Louisville, South Florida.
South Florida.
Okay, there we go. There's an upset. Michigan State, North Dakota State.
Michigan State.
Okay. UCLA versus UCF.
UCLA.
UConn versus Furman.
UConn.
Okay. Florida versus
Florida.
the winner. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you want to pick against them. Clemson versus Iowa.
Clemson.
Okay. Vanderbilt versus McNeese.
Vanderbilt.
Okay. Nebraska versus Troy.
I gotta
Go
pick
with
Nebraska.
Yeah. North Carolina versus VCU.
North Carolina.
Okay. You're picking a lot of favorites here.
Sorry.
Illinois versus Penn. I mean, listen, it's your bracket, not
Penn.
mine. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Not where I would have picked the upset. St. Mary's versus Texas A&M.
Texas A&M.
Okay. Houston versus Idaho.
Houston.
Okay. Arizona versus Long Island University.
Arizona. Bro, there's so many fucking teams.
Villanova versus Utah State.
Villanova.
Okay. Wisconsin versus High Point.
Use Wisconsin.
Okay. Arkansas versus Hawaii.
Arkansas.
BYU versus the winner of Texas and NC State.
BYU, I guess.
Gonzaga versus Kennesaw State.
Gonzaga.
Okay. You said Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Miami versus Missouri.
Miami.
Okay. Purdue
Fuck
versus
Missouri.
Queens University.
Purdue.
Michigan versus the winner of UMBC and Howard.
Michigan.
Okay. Georgia, St. Louis.
Georgia. I'm not picking fucking St. Louis.
Why not, dude? St. Louis is good this year.
No, wait. Actually, I am going to pick St. Louis.
They've got Robbie Avila, and they've only lost four or five games.
No, I'm going to pick St. Louis.
Texas Tech versus Akron.
Texas Tech.
Alabama versus Hofstra.
There's so many fucking teams. Alabama.
Don't worry, we're almost done with round one. Tennessee versus the winner of Miami of Ohio and SMU.
Tennessee.
Okay. No Miami of Ohio Cinderella story for Doug. Virginia versus Wright State.
Virginia.
Okay. Kentucky versus Santa Clara.
Kentucky.
Iowa State versus Tennessee State.
Iowa State.
If Doug's bracket is how the real thing plays out, this is going to be the most boring March Madness in history. Duke versus TCU. We're in the second round now.
Duke.
St. John's versus Kansas.
St. John's.
South Florida versus Michigan State.
Michigan State.
UCLA versus UConn.
UConn.
Florida versus Clemson.
Florida.
Vanderbilt versus Nebraska.
Vanderbilt.
Whoa, okay. North Carolina versus Penn.
North Carolina.
Texas A&M versus Houston.
Texas A&M.
Whoa, okay. Arizona versus Villanova.
Villanova.
Okay. Wisconsin versus Arkansas.
Wisconsin.
BYU versus Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Miami versus Purdue.
Purdue.
Michigan versus St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Texas Tech, Alabama.
Alabama.
Tennessee versus Virginia.
Virginia.
Kentucky versus Iowa State.
Kentucky.
Okay. Into the Sweet 16. Kentucky versus Virginia.
Kentucky.
St. Louis, Alabama.
St. Louis.
Okay. Gonzaga, Purdue.
Gonzaga.
Wisconsin, Villanova.
Villanova.
North Carolina versus Texas A&M.
North Carolina.
Florida versus Vanderbilt.
Florida.
Michigan State versus UConn.
UConn.
Duke versus St. John's.
Duke.
Into the Elite Eight. Duke versus UConn.
Duke.
Florida versus North Carolina.
Florida.
Villanova versus Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
St. Louis versus Kentucky.
St. Louis.
St. Louis all the way to the Final Four. St. Louis versus Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
Duke versus Florida.
Florida.
And your national championship, Florida versus Gonzaga. Who do you got?
I have Florida.
Nice.
All right.
I love podcasting with you, Doug. Thank you for participating.
No, thank you. I love speaking with you.
Okay. We're going to talk about some news. You can share some feedback if you like listening to us react to the Oscars while Doug is sneezing by liking, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube, rating the episode on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and following us at all of the links in the episode description. For context, like I said earlier, this episode, we're recording this Oscars morning or early afternoon. So if there's any significant news between now and the Oscars, it won't be covered here. So hopefully there isn't. But biggest piece of news, I think, from this week is a project that we were all like not
Project
that interested
Hail
in.
Mary.
No, that's next week.
Okay.
Project that we were not all that interested in, maybe becoming a project that actually we are interested in, because Bradley Cooper is reportedly being eyed to write and direct the Ocean's 11 prequel that he and Margot Robbie are starring in.
So you didn't listen to the podcast last week.
I did not. Did you guys
so-
talk about this?
Yeah. We talked about how who was the director? It was
Lee Isaac Chung.
Lee Isaac Chung dropped out, right?
Yeah.
And Owen was like, "Man, Bradley Cooper should just direct it."
Okay, I see.
And that was like that's all we talked about for like a couple of minutes.
Right, and now it's like confirmed that he's going to. So, or in theory, he's
no, it's not confirmed.
It's not confirmed.
It's confirmed that
he's in
it is a
talks.
possibility.
Yes,
it's possible.
Sure. So I guess technically you guys already covered it, but
yeah, no, I mean, great. That sounds great. Love those guys. Margot Robbie. Love her when she's in good movies.
Yeah, which this could be the case.
Yeah, no, it's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Bradley Cooper's such a good director.
Yeah, I think. I mean, also I like Lee Isaac Chung, but this does get more interesting as a Bradley Cooper project than a Lee Isaac Chung project.
Stretch your wings, Coop.
Yeah, go nuts. Make an Ocean's movie.
Go crazy.
This is an interesting one. Billie Eilish is reportedly set to star in Sarah Polley's film adaptation of Sylvia Plath's The Bell Jar.
Yeah, so
quite a sentence.
One of my friends who she's like a 10 movie a year kind of person. She sent me this piece of news on Twitter with like the caption. She was like LOL, like making fun of it, and I was like, wait, maybe this is something. Maybe we shouldn't be so harsh to judge. Like,
yeah.
So yeah.
I assume that if she's a 10 movie a year person, then the LOL is more directed towards Billie Eilish than it is Sarah Polley.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I like Billie Eilish's music a lot.
I love Billie Eilish.
I would watch her star in movies.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Billie Eilish concert film.
Oh, true. Yeah, when does that come out? Sometime, I think in the first half of this year. Like, I feel like it comes out somewhat soon. It feels like it would be a summer release. Let's see. Doug's looking it up for us.
May 8th.
Okay, yeah, I was pretty spot on. Nice.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see that in theaters?
In 3D. Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be me and it's gonna be
a lot of like
girlfriend and a bunch of
teenagers,
14-year-old girls.
Yeah.
Swag.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I haven't read The Bell Jar. I would like to. It's been on my reading list for a while. I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it'll be an interesting adaptation. Why'd you react like that to The Bell Jar being good? You think no?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
Keep going.
During Women's History Month?
Okay.
No, I'm interested to see what it looks like with Billie Eilish in the lead. Here's a piece of news that I know you're excited about, I'd imagine. Arnold Schwarzenegger will return as Conan the Barbarian in the new film King Conan, written and directed by Christopher McQuarrie.
I hope this shit is real, bro. I hope this shit is real. I hope that Arnold isn't just blowing fucking gargantuan gas up my ass right now. This is crazy. Because here's the thing. He's like too old to do like stunts and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, what the fuck is this movie about? You know? I'm so curious.
But also, what if he's not? What if he just like gets back and like
He's
prime
80
shape.
years old.
No, I know, but like, what if he gets on like some crazy workout plan and just is like the most shredded 80-year-old ever?
I don't know, but I'm so interested in this. I think that I'm so excited for Christopher McQuarrie to go. It's writing and directing, right?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Okay. To do something else like without Tom Cruise in like this post Mission Impossible world, where like in Mission Impossible he proved so much about what he's able to do, good and bad, right? Um,
Mhm.
like, but it's like I think it's such like I think the his run in the Mission series is so major and so successful, and obviously he grew so much that like yeah, so curious as to what this is going to be. And also I think it's kind of a bigger trend of like these like really prestige or like prestigious action filmmakers, what Western action filmmakers, they want to get away from guns, you know. I think
Yeah.
they want to return to swords, because this news is coming off the heels of like production wrapping on the Highlander reboot with helmed by the John Wick guy. What's his name?
Yeah. The
Stahelski.
guy.
Chad Stahelski.
Stahelski. Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
What? So it's like, yeah, this would be awesome if they're gonna
Yeah.
usher in um a new age of sword movies.
That's an interesting point that I hadn't thought about, is that like we're going away from guns. And I wonder if this isn't maybe a good way to potentially go full circle to the conversation we had when I was on the pod 2 weeks ago, because I've been watching the Pirates movies, and we get
A
somebody who
new
wants to make a pirate movie. Um,
That'd be
because
excellent.
if we're yeah, like if
Well,
it
I
is like
mean,
you say, and people are moving away from guns and back to swords, maybe a big blockbuster pirate movie is not far away.
you can only wish, bro. It's like such a perfect setting.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch the Pirates movies. I want to rewatch the Gore Verbinski trilogy
Yes,
at the
that's
very
what I'm
least.
doing. I'm not going to
Yeah,
watch after that. I
yeah.
have seen 4 and 5, but I don't really plan on rewatching them.
But I really want to rewatch the Gore Verbinski trilogy because it's just I think that like some of the casting and stuff might I might find annoying. I don't think I'm going to be super charmed by Johnny Depp anymore. But
Yeah,
just like the setting, like pirates are just it's so perfect. It's
yeah,
so just like so instantly cool. Um, it would be incredible if not only just like one of those guys, but anybody that's like like really talented in making staging action set pieces or writing genre films like wanted to do like really something kind of big and ambitious with pirates movies again. That would be so good. And maybe if these movies are really successful, that'll happen. But
and mostly I mean, obviously, I would be very welcoming to a new Pirates movie, but I also am kind of just game for what you're saying, which is like I do tend to just like action movies when they're like either big historical things or just like they involve hand-to-hand combat in some way. Like even with TV, obviously, like I loved Game of Thrones and that has no guns. And it's like anything that's like or Lord of the Rings, like anything where people are fighting with swords or sword adjacent objects, I do kind of just prefer to like gun combat.
yeah,
Um
that's the best part of the John Wick movies is the
right,
hand-to-hand
yeah,
combat. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Um then we've got Paramount reportedly rejecting Max Landis's script for a G.I. Joe reboot, citing creative reasons, and they will not be moving forward with the project. This is
Well,
good news.
this is like such a why is there so much reporting around this? Like how is like there's so many leaks?
Yeah.
Um because embarrassing. Also like such a but what happened with it was like there were two scripts that were going to be written and like they were going to combine the two scripts, right? Why couldn't they just get one person to write the script?
Yeah, I don't know. Also,
'Cause-
was that the one with Danny McBride
Yeah, it was Danny
involved?
McBride was writing the other
Okay.
scripts. Yeah, it
Because
was
in the reporting of it being rejected, they mentioned how part of it was like that they're accepting other scripts from people such as Danny McBride. And so I wonder if like Danny McBride didn't want to do GI Joe, and he just went and wrote a script for something else entirely, instead of
Maybe.
collaborating on this one. I don't really know what's happening. Obviously, like nobody knows what's happening, but except for them. But yeah, uh, this isn't getting made, I guess. Which, like, I was never a GI Joe movie person anyway. Like, I've never seen any of those movies, so I don't know if I cared about this regardless.
The
But
cartoon is swag, bro. The cartoon's fucking
that's
swag. I
probably
mean,
true.
it's like evil American like American war
Sure,
propaganda, right? We're
sure,
just talking about like aren't soldiers and soldiers fighting in war awesome? You know,
yeah,
it's like sure. But it's like it's like the Transformers era. Granted, the Transformers cartoon way more swag than the GI Joe cartoon, but the GI Joe cartoon, like Go Joe, I love that shit as a kid, bro.
real,
Anyways,
real, yeah. Um, the best part of this news is obviously that Max Landis doesn't have a job.
yeah,
I mean,
kill
he's
Max Landis.
yeah,
Presumably, he got paid for his time writing the script they didn't fucking like.
true.
Um,
Yeah, that's a fair point. Last piece of news here. Uh, Kate Winslet is officially set to play the female lead in Andy Serkis's The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum.
oh, it's Kate Winslet. There was the rumor that it was Anya Taylor-Joy was in talks to do it.
Yeah. Well, now it's
Um,
Kate Winslet. Um, it's
uh,
also unconfirmed that Kate Winslet is actually playing the lead and not another character, but the reporting is making it seem like she is the lead. Technically she could be any character, but yeah, I don't know.
is
This
Andy Serkis is directing this, right?
yes.
I don't know what the fuck this movie's gonna be, bro. It's like this is one of those things where how do you have any expectations for this? You know what I mean? And
Yeah, it's one of those things where I wouldn't be surprised if I
I
end up
think
actually kind of liking it, but like
well, it's like I
I would
love the Lord of the Rings movies, as in like the movies called Lord of the Rings, like those three
yes,
movies. I love those movies. They're not,
same.
it's one of those things where it's like I think those movies are so amazing. They're still kind of overrated though, in a weird way. But I love those movies so much. Um,
Mhm.
um, the Hobbit movies are kind of bad.
Yeah,
I
I've still
the
never watched
Lord
the
of the
Hobbit
Rings, Lord of the
movies.
Rohirrim, that animated movie, it's bad. The Rings of
Oh,
Power,
really? Didn't people like that one?
people did like it. People gave me shit for not liking it, but that shit is like is boring as fuck. It's like the most boring cartoon I've ever seen. It's literally like reading a fan wiki article about some
Okay.
history, because it's about like this famous battle that happened in the universe, and it's like okay,
Yeah.
whatever, bro. And then the Rings of Power show is like so boring. It's like a
Yeah,
worse Game of
I
Thrones
wanted to
show.
watch that like when it first came out, and I think it was like coming out at the same time as another show I was watching, and then I was kind of just like, I don't think I'm gonna see this at all. So I still haven't even watched the first episode. But
You might like it more because you like respond super positively to the George R. R. Martin shows, to all the Game of Thrones stuff you really
yes.
like, and it is trying to kind of be in that mode, but it's like, I'm not a big Game of Thrones person. Like I dropped the show at season 5 because I it's just
Yeah.
so I found it so boring. This is I mean the Rings of Power show, it like looks kind of nice sometimes, but it's like so boring. It's so fucking slow.
Yeah. I'd be
Yeah.
curious to see how you'd respond to Night of the Seven Kingdoms because it's like
Everyone says it's peak. Everyone says it's so
it's
good.
not only is it great, but it's also like I think it would combat some of your problems that you're describing with these other shows. One, that it's not boring because it's much shorter. It's like literally 6 episodes and they range from 30 to 40 minutes. So it's almost just kind of like a long movie as opposed to like even a season of television. And two, it looks good. So that's pretty cool. I think you might like it. And technically you could watch it without any prior Game of Thrones or
Well,
House of the
see,
Dragon
I've
knowledge.
seen
It's like
like
its own
I haven't
thing,
seen
but you
any of
have
House of the
seen some of it.
Dragons. Yeah,
So
I've seen most of the Game of Thrones show.
yeah.
Um,
But my point is like you don't even have to.
yeah.
Like you could just enjoy it as its own thing. So maybe you'd like it. I don't know
And
if
I
you ever
love
decide to
season
watch it.
okay, also let me defend myself. I love season 4 of Game of Thrones. I like
Yes.
genuinely I'm like
Season
that's
four is
like
terrific.
that was like
Yeah.
really, really amazing. But the thing is like everything that I was like super invested in that like made season 4 so good to me was like resolved at the end of the season.
Yeah,
So
so
then
like season 5 is just kind of
yeah, so I was like had such a hard time being like getting invested in it.
yeah. Season 5 definitely dips in quality a little bit for me, but I still think it's great. Like
Mhm.
I had no problem watching it. And then season 6 is pretty on par with season 5 for me. It's really not until like season 7 that I actually like felt an actual like decrease in
Is
quality.
season 7 when they get ahead of the books, when they just start like
Yes. Yeah.
okay, when George R. R. Martin is kind of removed from the creative
Yes.
process?
Which like that A Night of the Seven Kingdoms is the most like proof that this guy is like the man. Like it's like if you just made TV based solely on his work and did not stray from it at all, you would get amazing television all the time. Because House of the Dragon also took a dip in quality pretty quickly, I thought, after the first season. I'm curious to see what happens with the new season this summer. Maybe they'll pick things back up. Maybe they won't. I thought the trailer looked pretty sick. But Night of the Seven Kingdoms, there's all this like public press of George R. R. Martin being like, hey guys, they kind of cut me out of the House of the Dragon process, but I'm all in on Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And then you watch the first season and you're like, I could tell this guy is all in on Seven Kingdoms. I could tell that he had some involvement in the show, and it's the reason why the story is as good as it is. So I think the lesson from Night of the Seven Kingdoms is that we should always listen to George R. R. Martin and just like let him cook.
I wonder
Um,
if George R. R. Martin's other like written material, like short stories and novels, outside of the Westeros like universe will ever get adapted into major TV shows or movies. Um, because he has like other stuff. Like he has this
yeah.
novel that I've read the most of. I haven't finished it, but I read most of called Fever Dream, which is about
Yes.
like vampires in 1800s Louisiana. um and he like
Sounds
stuff like and
sick.
he has like so many short stories that he used to write all the
Right.
time, and so I wonder if like any of that stuff will get ever adapted.
I mean, Fever Dream sounds like it would be amazing to adapt.
No, yeah, it would probably be a fucking sick ass movie or show. Like
Yeah. That'd be awesome, actually. That's like a just reading the like brief description. I'm like, oh, this sounds like but you if you never introduced this to me, I would have never thought about it. Now I feel like I need this to happen. I'm like reading the description. I'm like, wait a second. Let someone get a hold of that. Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
don't
it
because
seems
he's
like he's
just like
only Game of Thrones stuff. Like
yeah, he really just is like brilliant. I don't know.
no,
It's
he
like
is. He's one of the great, like specifically in terms of like genre, like fantasy writing. He's like one of the greatest, probably like the greatest contemporary guy. I'm not gonna be like
sure.
he's the greatest fucking writer alive, but like in terms of
Yeah,
like this specific like writing fantasy, bro. I mean, people are like
it's hard to compete.
Brandon
Yeah.
Sanderson slop, but like you know,
Right. Oh, someone listening's not gonna like
I
that.
know some of the. I'm sorry, bro.
I mean,
He
listen, I
writes.
haven't read any of the Brandon Sanderson stuff.
Bro, Brandon
I see
Sanderson.
it often,
He's the
sitting on a
they're
shelf
on like
and
the opposite sides of of the author spectrum, where they both
right.
write fantasy books. They both write like really intricate, like really like thinking about the whole world fantasy books, right? Brandon
Yeah.
Sanderson writes 15 books a year, and
Right.
George R. R. Martin writes one book a decade.
Yeah. No,
Oh,
fair point. Um, anyway, that's our last piece of news. We could wrap up there. Next week, we are going to be talking about Project Hail Mary,
yeah.
episode 158.
If this is your favorite movie of the year, maybe don't listen to our episode next week.
Hey, I'm excited. I'll say it.
It's a Phil Lord and Christopher Miller movie. I don't know.
I just think I might like it. That's all I'm gonna say. Listeners of the pod, have some hope, at least for one person. But I'm not confident that I'm gonna like it. That's just
It's a
I'm cau-
throwback to
I'm
it's a
cautious. I'm
throwback,
cautiously excited.
it's a throwback
Uh,
to iconic classic sci-fi movies from the 2010s.
Yep. Okay. All
That's
right. And now
that's
you're
how
just
it's
being
being
an asshole.
advertised. That's how it's being
No, I
advertised.
know, I know. But all right, next week, episode 158. We will see you later. Bye.